let's jump ahead to 2006. Now, this is both you boys playing this series. Justin, Tatey, this is New South Wales have won 3 straight. You know, and Ricky Stewart coached them in 2005. You don't know, is that a dynasty? And you blokes have come in and ended all that. Can you take us back to 2006, what you were thinking going into the series? Meninga takes over as coach. Is it a myth or is it the truth that the seed for victory is sown in and off season, long before the first game?
I definitely think it was in that series. So you're right, we'd come off 3 series losses. Mel was appointed coach, and I'll never ever forget it, mate. I get goosebumps even talking about it now. In the preseason, Mel got 45 potential players that could have represented Queensland that year. Got us to Royal on the Park in Brisbane. We sat in this big room. He put butcher's paper and pens in front of us and goes, I want you to break up into groups. I want you to go away and write down how you want to be viewed by the Queensland public, both on and off the field. And we basically came back with what we call the Queensland way. And the other thing he did is he brought a few of the legends back in, like Gilly, Alfie, Kevy, those sort of guys, to, I guess, re-educate us on what it meant to play for Queensland, because he thought we'd lost our way and lost our history. And, mate, that kicked off the series wins, but that's where it started.
And mind you, to back that up as well, like he, at the end of all that, he stood up and said, listen, if you still want to follow this plan, there's the effing door.
Wow.
You're not going to play for Queensland ever again.
Now, despite all of that, and game 1, you get your hearts broken. The field goal wins it, separates the team. So, best laid plans, but you've got to be, anything can happen in Origin.
We did, and I remember we got on the bus that night driving out of the stadium, and I remember Mal having a chat to the group up the front. He goes, look, we'll be right. Like, he just had full confidence in us going back to Suncorp. Like, he's like, they think they're going to beat us, Tatey. What do you reckon? He sort of giggled, and I remember thinking, like, mate, he's just got full belief, this bloke. Like, we're on. So
it was a crazy moment. Like, you saw Brent Finch there kicking the field goal. I think he came in as a late replacement as well, and obviously a next teammate of mine. But look, it was heartbreaking. Like, obviously, we're coming from 3 series down, New South Wales. After Fletch threw the old grenade, and they're saying, "Oh, Origin football's dead. We don't want to play." That's what we've got told, like Origin football is dead. New South Wales don't want to play no more.
I'll ask you this, Justin, because you've played 24 State of Origin matches, and we'll roll the highlights of game number 2. But to score a runaway try in front of home fans in Brisbane, how big is that moment? You look back on your great career, but you have 50,000 Queenslanders screaming for you at the ground.
Yeah, look,
all for you.
Yeah, look, obviously it was a surreal moment, because I remember the week leading into it, I wasn't even supposed to play. I was still out with my hamstring, but I remember I rang Mel and said, mate, I'll be right, just pick me, because obviously I missed game 1. So for him to show the faith in me to play, as you can see, I've got the old hemi-guard on, which I wore. Then, Braithwaite threw that ball nice in here.
Here we go.
The thing in my mind, mate, I was more worried about tearing my hemi than getting caught. So, look, it was a surreal moment. Everyone's going crazy. Then I think Brett Hodgson comes across and just give him the old point and throw the ball at him and get up.
You burn him off easy.
Oh, mate, I was fast back then. I might look slow.
What was it like? Carl Webb, I see. The great Carl Webb, God rest his soul, great player.
He was... Webby was a beast. Like,
he was a beast.
When you talk about Origin and you talk about those moments where you could actually get physical, like Charlie was the one bloke you just go, mate, get into these blokes. He'll be leading the way, and you'd get behind him because you knew I was going to beat him. But Webby was a phenomenal athlete.
I reckon that night was a night that really gave us the belief that we could win again. Yeah. We did a job on him that night at Suncorp, and it was almost like, you know what, these blokes aren't superhuman. We can win.
Well, I think that try. I mean, a bloke like Adam Mogg comes into the side, and it's always been said, it doesn't matter the maroon jersey, it doesn't matter who wears it, you're next man up.
Well, I remember the selection time was Adam who?
Yeah, that's right.
And then we've got, you'll know who he is soon enough, and they did.
Yeah, I think that's what the Queensland teams are all about. Like, obviously, we had a great leader in Lockie. Obviously, Petro was there, Pricey was there. So we had these older guys in there that knew what Origin all about as well, because they faced defeat there. And some of us, even though I played a couple of series before that, but some of those guys have never tasted a loss before, tasted a victory to New South Wales. So.
Okay. Now, despite everything you've told us about the prep for game 1, you come back, it's still 1-1, it's still a decider. And with 9 minutes to go on the decider, New South Wales is up by 10. It's taking something. It becomes, you are about to become part of Origin folklore. The next 9 minutes could change your life, and it did.
It definitely did, mate, 100%. It changed the course of Origin for me anyway. And I'll never forget Lockie's leadership that night. So before that series, Petro, Pricey and Lockie were all told if we lose the series, they're gone, never playing again. So Lockie had the most to lose out of anyone. When we were, Eric Gross scored a try for blatant knock-on, I'll say as well. The wheels had fallen off the team. Like everyone, like I was walking behind, cursing, swearing, saying we've lost. But I remember Lockie's leadership just saying, mate, we've got time. Let's just kick the ball off, get it back, we'll win this game. And I remember thinking, mate, we're no hope. And just the belief he had, mate, in his leadership and his calmness. And obviously the rest is history after that.
This is the first decider played in a neutral venue. So played in Melbourne, yet having been there on the sideline that night, it still felt like Queensland. Like, there's a lot of Maroon there. A lot of Maroon there.
I was in the crowd with MG doing a corporate tour.
Yeah.
And you're right, the Victorians hold New South Wales in the same regard as we do. So it was very, very pro-Maroon.
It was. It was. We were into that game, myself and Greg Ellis, and we're sitting up in the box of Mel, and it was just weird though, because I still remember the big fella. He was so calm and relaxed, and it's interesting to hear my man Brent Tate run the field. But Lockie, the one thing I know about Lockie is he's so cool and calm. Like he'll stick to the game plan until there's no more seconds on the clock. So for him to say that, especially on the field.
All right, that try gives you a crack. And Tatey, this moment out of your career, and considering the setbacks you'd had and things that happened in your career, that people will notice you're wearing the neck guard at this point. I mean, your career could have been over.
Oh,
you get to have this moment.
Bossy, I was only a few weeks back from a serious ankle injury too, and that's my favourite night of footy of all time, that night, just of what was riding on the series, how we won it. I'll never ever forget scoring that try when I slammed it down. It was almost like I was saying to the Blues, like, we're coming to get you. And then obviously this moment where, mate, we sealed it, and it was unbelievable.
You talk about Origin, they talk about moments, and they talk about luck. Like just that play there, it changed Origin for us.
Yeah.
You know, man, then we go on and do what we do. And for Lockie, once again, to just stick to the game plan, and him being Lockie just pushes on everything. If he doesn't push, if that's someone else playing 5'8", we don't get that in score. But because who Lockie is, he's pushing.
You sort of think of Lockie the skill,
Yep.
but that's the 1%ers that you don't see, where he just keeps putting, as you said, keeps pushing.